Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Combat Craig, and today we're talking about understanding your rights as a disabled veteran with a 100% VA disability rating. So I get this message a lot, talking about rating reductions, can the VA take away my rating, things of this nature, and I want to address Michael's comment here. So Michael says, you helped me get to 100% permanent total rating. Thank you. I'm 65 now. Can the VA ever decrease me? So first of all, congratulations, Michael. This is not easy, despite what the internet says and people that are on the internet. 100% permanent total disability rating is not easy at any age. You're 65. You fought longer than I did, most likely. So congratulations on the 100% permanent total. It's a huge rating, and it is going to be life-changing for you and your family. Now let's go on to the age part and can they take your rating away? So the VA can take away your rating at any age. Age isn't a factor when it comes to reducing ratings, unfortunately. And I guess one of the main motivations for this video is I've seen an uptick in veterans that are 65 years or older, 65 to in your 80s, getting reduction letters out of the blue when the VA says, oh yeah, when you're a certain age, we don't mess with you. So I want to bring up a couple points here. First of all, I've been doing this YouTube channel for 4 years plus now. I talk to a lot of veterans. A lot of you guys talk to me. You share information with me. So as these are also stories that are shared with me, kind of fall into they're on the internet category. So I want to bring a few things up about this. First of all, I'm in a position with this YouTube channel where I talk to a lot of veterans and I get to hear what's really going on. I hear it daily. I hear what you guys are saying. You leave me comments. We talk on my live boot camp sessions. We talk via email. I have my ear to the ground, so to speak, and I understand what's going on. And in this past year, there's been an uptick. It's kind of like, okay, we approved the PACT Act. Now we're going to reduce older veterans. I don't know if that's the correlation. I just know what I hear. So that's what's going on in my position. Most likely, I talk to more veterans than you do on a daily basis. That doesn't make me some kind of superhero. It's just a fact. I have more information to work with and more data to work with. So that's the first thing I want to get out there. Take that as you want to take it. I talk to veterans. I have facts and data to back up what I'm talking about. Number two is there's the internet, right? There's what the VA puts out there and their marketing, like, oh yeah, we don't reduce veterans, or actually it's more like we're doing a much better job of not making mistakes or outright reducing veterans. That's kind of more their messaging. And then you have the internet. There's lots of forums, YouTube channels, comments, you name it, all that stuff. I fall into that category for sure. And there's a lot of information out there that's like, well, there's these certain rules that are in place. So since this rule exists or this general policy exists, then the VA can't do that to me because I'm over 55 or I've had my rating for 5 years. They're not going to reduce me because the internet said so. So we're going to separate this because we're not really talking about what the VA's messaging is. We know what they're all about, not paying. Veterans Benefits Administration. They're about keeping our money in their pockets and not paying us. It's a business. They run it like a mafia, straight up. You don't have to agree with me. You already know the answer to this. You've been dealing with them for years. So their motivation is to keep our money in their pockets, right? We have a few things to unpack here. First of all, we have me. I'm in a position where I see and talk to a lot of veterans. I have a pretty good sense of what's going on because I'm paying attention. I'm talking to you guys. We talk in the comments. We talk in my boot camp, all that kind of stuff. So I'm a lot more aware than I was before I started this YouTube channel and figured out how to play the game with the VA. I know how to play their game. I know what to do. And that's why I started this channel. So that's the first thing, right? Second thing is there's a lot of information floating around out there. The internet has made a lot of things accessible or more accessible. I certainly didn't have this information in 1991. or in 2001, or even though the internet was around. But there's a lot more information floating around about VA disability claims, rating reductions, all that kind of stuff. And most of that stuff is general knowledge. Some of it is policies like, oh yeah, our policy is not to reduce veterans that are over 55. I'm turning 55 this year, and I'm not going on that at all, because it really doesn't matter what other veterans are saying or what the rumors are, whether there's veterans putting rumors out there or the VA's putting rumors out there. Don't kid yourself. The VA puts lots of rumors out there. Most recent one is the PACT Act. Right? We're doing all these great things for the PACT Act, and then they're just reducing veterans that are over 65. I have no idea why that's a current trend, but it's happening. So, Michael, because you're 65 years old, is irrelevant. You got your 100% permanent and total rating. That was a fight. Now you need to keep it. The VA can and will, it would be silly for you to expect them to not come after and reduce your rating, because this is business, right? You're running a business. You see a way to save money, to cut corners or whatever it is, however you run your business, that's what you're going to do. It's kind of the same thing. So I would be prepared, and I am prepared. So I'm not like saying this is what you should do. Do as I say, don't do as I do. Like, I am prepared every day for a VA reduction letter to come in, and I am prepared and armed with the information that I think will win. And we'll go into what I do, and then we'll talk about, what you should do and what you feel comfortable with. But with VA disability claims, there's a lot of things that we can generalize. But at the end of the day, we can't generalize. It's your claim, it's your money, and it's your rating, and you need to protect it so you keep the money coming in and you keep the benefits coming in. So this is just down to one person, right? So if we're using me as that example, I do things to protect my rating. Figured out how to get 100% permanent total. I understand they say it's 100% permanent total. And I'm pretty close to 55, so they shouldn't reevaluate me. And I'm coming up on my first 5-year rule protection. Guess how protected I feel? Granted, I haven't gone over the finish line on some of those things. None of those things are actual real rules that make me feel comfortable, because I see how the VA works. They say we're not supposed to reduce veterans. They say that we're not supposed to take a look at their ratings after they're 55. But then the VA Office of Inspector General comes out with a report. Granted, this report here, there's a link in the description, is a few years old, but I guarantee you there is currently an ongoing investigation into why VBA employees are reducing veterans. We'll probably see it in the next couple of years. Mark my words. You can come back and say, yeah, Craig, you were right. Or I was wrong, whatever. They are doing it, and they're doing it a lot now. I don't know the exact motivation, but I have some ideas. I'm going to share those with you as well. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my boot camp. And if you need medical evidence, hit up my med team. There's an email address in the description for the med team and a link to my boot camp at combatcraig.com. All right, so when we're talking about generalizations, the VA shouldn't be doing this, or the VA coming out and saying, we are doing a much better job not making happy little accidents, right? Bob Ross style. That's literally what I heard. Happy little accidents. It's actually a pretty good way to describe their wordsmithery and their spin on it. Oh, whoops, we're just making an accident. Well, if those numbers are down, that's great. I hope you make no accidents, and for all veterans. But for me, I can't afford 1 inch of an accident. I can't afford you to make a happy little accident on my claim, send me in for a VA rating reduction, and have to fight it and deal with it. Like, I can't afford that. So I have zero risk tolerance when it comes to VA rating reductions and me and my claim. So if it is happening to one veteran, that's one veteran way too many for me, right? So if it happens to one person, it could happen to me. That's how I lived my life. Granted, I have some mental health issues that you guys may know about. I see a lot into the VA. I talk to VBA employees. I know how they work more and more, and I learn on a daily basis. And they make mistakes, and I expect them to pick me to make a mistake on my claim. So here's what I do. I expect them to send me a VA rating reduction notice, and I'm going to have medical evidence, positive medical evidence, to argue against their rating reduction. So the first thing that I'm going to do is request a hearing so I buy myself more time. I want to learn what they're trying to reduce, how many of my disabilities they're trying to reduce, like what is the fight that I'm about ready to get into, and then having the positive medical evidence. That's how you fight this. It took medical evidence to get the rating in the first place. It takes medical evidence to keep the rating. So what I do personally is for every single one of my service-connected disabilities, I go to the doctor and voice my complaints, get them on paper, double check the doctor's notes to make sure they didn't make another happy accident. And they misunderstood me when I said, this is a chronic condition that I've had for 35 years, and it's not getting better, it's actually worse. I go in there to look to see if I wasn't misquoted where it says, Combat Craig feels fine. I put a lot of effort into making sure my records are updated, and I do this quarterly, 4 times a year. That makes me feel comfortable. Again, I'm definitely different. Everybody has different risk tolerance. I have 0 when it comes to the VA reducing my rating. So 4 times a year makes me feel comfortable. I can see the rating reduction notice coming. I can visualize it. I know exactly how to go about requesting a hearing, how to go about assembling the medical evidence to dispute what they're trying to do, reduce my rating. And I feel that, since it's basically a current disability, current symptoms, I don't know how they're going to come at me, but I feel that having a year's worth of current stuff is going to be something I can fight and win. So it's different for everybody, and there is no magic number. You have to figure this out. A lot of guys will go once every 5 years. I mean, it's your claim and your rating. If going once every 5 years makes you feel comfortable, I'd say go more. It's a disability. You're getting paid $3,500 a month or more if you have dependents, and if you're in receipt of a special monthly compensation, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 grand a month. Like, you could put some time and effort into going to the doctor. Get it logged into your medical evidence. So you could do it through My Healthy Vet if you only deal with VA doctors or private doctors. I do a little of both. That makes me feel comfortable. You have to figure out that mixture that makes you feel comfortable. But do they reduce veterans? Absolutely. I look at my doctor's appointments to keep up on my disabilities as happy little reminders to the VA. Yes, I mean, tinnitus is never going to get better. I've had it my whole life. I've learned how to live with it and cope with it, and PTSD is never getting better. My feet aren't getting better. And I'm actually getting older too, and things are getting worse. So all this stuff is happening, and I understand it, and I'm reality based about all this stuff. But I'm no longer going to just suck it up and not complain, because that's potentially going to hurt me. So I'm going in there and putting in the effort. Yes, I have by the way, doc, let's talk about that. Let's do a little checkup on that tinnitus. So still there, still sucks, still causes me depression. And then I keep a log of everything as well. So here's when it was really bad. Here's when it's less bad. And I put all that stuff together, and I do it for each one of my service-connected disabilities. So happy little reminders is the way I look at it. My happy little reminders are going to be answers to the VA's happy little accidents. I'm going to leave a link to the VA Office of Inspector General report where they have unwarranted C&P exams, and they violated every single rule and or law that they say they have, because they're not accountable. They get a little slap on the wrist. Again, that's too much risk for me. Some VA employee could reduce me. I'll fight it and win. I just don't want to have to deal with it. Can you imagine the anxiety and stress when your, disability payment goes from $3,500 a month down to $1,000 because somebody made a little accident? And then that guy is just going to get a slap on the wrist or a stern talking to while I'm over here suffering. No thanks. I want to be prepared for that. That's my approach. That's what I do. I'm 4 years in to having my rating for 20 years. The only rule you need to know about is the VA 20-year rule. Once you've had the same rating for 20 years, they can't reduce it, they can't sever it, they can't do anything to it. It's just there. The only exception is if fraud is involved. So the 20-year rule is what you need to look at. Go do research, look at the 5-year rule, look at the 10-year rule, and be honest with yourself about this. Does, the 10-year rule, you need to have a couple C&P exams for reduction. You don't think the VA is going to go hire their doctors, their contractors to go throw 2 C&P exams that are negative to get you reduced? Yeah, they do it every day. You're in the middle of a claim right now. Why do you have 7 C&P exams for the exact same thing? Because they're complete morons, right? They make mistakes and they do all sorts of weird stuff, and they do not do it transparently. They just do it because they can do it. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my boot camp. And if you need medical evidence, there's an email address in the description down there. You can click both of them. Every mistake possible, we burn them up in fires, we flood them out, we misplace them, they're classified for a certain amount of years, and then we forget to unmark them so the veteran can actually look at them. You name the mistake, they do it. So I calculate that into my equation, right? They make mistakes. I'm not going to make mistakes. I'm going to tee myself up, and their mistakes, their ability, and their likelihood of making mistakes is calculated into what I'm going to do next. So they make mistakes. There are certain VA employees that think they are the gatekeepers of the U.S. Treasury. So these are Veterans Benefits Administration employees that should be working at the Treasury or something. Like, these are guys that think they're some kind of gatekeeper, and by denying and reducing veterans, you're saving the government money, or I don't know what they're doing. You guys, you specifically that are doing that, why don't you go run for Congress? Or let's take a step back. Why don't you go run to be the mayor of your city and go clean up your city? I guarantee you there's fraud, waste, and abuse and all sorts of stuff in your city. Go in, infiltrate the post office, and clean up all your post office employees. Then go in and figure out how to handle the water department and the trash department, or be the mayor, or do something in your city. Then go for Congress. Start slow. If that's your gig and you want to make a difference, reducing veterans isn't the way to do it. I know you're not going to hear me. That's fine. We know you're out there. Again, you, Mr. VA gatekeeper employee, I have you factored in. Not only do I plan on you making mistakes, I plan on you having a hard-on for my claim. It's already baked in. The Veterans Benefits Administration is about money. The whole goal is to keep our money, our benefits, our money in their pockets, not in our pockets. That's it. That's the goal. If it was the Veterans Benefits Administration is all about paying veterans, this YouTube channel wouldn't exist. You and I wouldn't even be having this conversation. We would just be getting paid. It doesn't work like that. They're about keeping our money from us. And then another layer above that is they're motivated to do that. They get annual bonuses. They're on the GS scale. They always have to move up and get raises and get promotions. So they're always looking to do things like, look, I cut down this many benefits and save the government however much money. These are all little things that these guys do to get raises, get bonuses, get promotions. The system is flawed this way. VA employees are incentivized to not pay us. So again, this is baked into my equation. They're going to make mistakes. There's going to be gatekeepers, and they're incentivized to take our money away from us. I'm factoring that all in. So I have one approach. Talk to somebody else if you want to get their thoughts on this. Leave a comment below. But at the end of the day, you have to do whatever you have to do to feel comfortable. If that VA reduction notice comes, you are going to be able to snap right into action, know what a hearing is, know how many days, 30, to get that hearing request in, and then how you're going to get that medical evidence to go fight off their negative evidence. How hard is it? Have you ever tried to get your private records? VA records are a pain in the butt, so I'm using all private. I do that. I get my private records. I upload them to the VA. I have them. Like, literally, VA reduction notice comes today. Request a hearing. I already have the information I need right now, if I got one today, to fight it. I already have all the positive medical evidence I need, but it's work. Definitely is work. But like I said, I get paid this money every month, and it's the least I can do is stay up on my disability claim and my disability rating. And yes, I do understand that I'm probably a little bit more paranoid because I'm costing the VA money by making a lot of you guys, hopefully all of you guys, and turning you into winners. And that puts a smile on my face. I don't know if I'm going to get VA back pay. I'll let you know once I pass the 20-year mark and I start challenging old effective dates. But in the meantime, I'm costing the VA thousands of dollars by turning you guys into winners, and that makes me happy. So this is my 2 cents. Don't sit back on your VA rating once you get it. Do something to be ready for a VA rating reduction. And guess what? If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. That's awesome. I hope mine never comes. But there's just too many maybes, too many things in the equation for me to take that approach. I need to be proactive, and you need to be proactive. So that's all I have to say about protected ratings. Once again, congratulations, Michael. Now it's time to keep that 100% PNT disability rating. I'll see you guys in the next video.